Monkeypox. What's the story? So we're all a little bit fragile, a little bit on edge after the past couple of years of the COVID pandemic. Yeah, well, none of us got to escape that particular tidal wave. So yes, we're just out the far side of that, and great. The world seems to be, for the most part, coming back to normal. Again, great. And now this has started popping up here and there. Monkeypox. Yeah, monkeypox. Now, as for me, I was only really aware of kind of two poxes. Chickenpox and smallpox. Now, chickenpox was a thing that was around when I was a kid. It just used to emerge and surface every now and again, and pretty much we all got it, and it was no big deal. We were nearly encouraged to get it because once you got it, that was it, you were done. It was basically 2 weeks of a lot of itchiness and a lot of spots and being coated in some weird, as I recall, some weird white cream stuff that not pleasant. But anyway, the moral of the story is you got it, you went through the couple of weeks of discomfort, you got off school in fairness, so it wasn't all bad, and then it was done. That was it, you were finished, you were immune, you could forget about the chickenpox. Smallpox, on the other hand, that was a whole different thing. And if you know anything about smallpox, that's a horrendous disease. And thankfully, it was fully eradicated. It was declared completely eradicated in December 1979, I believe. And it is, to my knowledge, the only disease that we have successfully eradicated. Completely eradicated. It's gone. Well, I think they still keep some in labs or something for who knows what. Anyway, so that was it. Chickenpox, smallpox. Now we have this monkeypox thing, which is, I'd never heard of it till a few days ago. Literally, never heard of it. News to me. And it popped up and I said, oh, okay, fair enough. Because let's be honest, before the COVID thing, these things, the disease outbreaks would pop up if you're paying attention, or if you read world news, for example, and you were flicking through different feeds. Yeah, there'd be outbreaks of Ebola, maybe in the Congo or somewhere, and that'd kind of blow itself out in a couple of weeks. Maybe you had the SARS outbreak a number of years ago. Again, it was a thing, but it didn't kind of go anywhere. And then you had the bird flu type stuff. Do you remember the whole bird flu thing? Again, no joke, but it kind of just, it never really affected most people's lives. It was a thing that was just kind of blew up in certain areas and then kind of blew itself out. Nobody thought any more about it. Now that we are post-COVID, well, suddenly these little outbreaks are far more, let's just say we're far more tuned in to potential problems. Because up until COVID, no one would have believed, outside of the land of science fiction, there's plenty of movies, good movies, about world pandemic, but nobody believed it would actually happen, or that the whole world, or most of it, could be literally shut down. Nobody would have believed that. It was beyond the scope of most people, because it had never happened, really. So they're thinking, nah. Like, bar some zombie apocalypse, no, it's not going to happen. Then it did happen. Then it actually did happen. Yes. So we're all, scarred by that. So we're all a little bit fragile as regards outbreaks of things we don't know about, things we hadn't heard about, or anything that's new, shall we say. Well, to me, monkeypox is new, because I'd never heard of it. Now, it's not new, but it's relatively new. So I thought we'd have a look at it today, because it's popping up, and I think it's going to pop up a lot more, because, look, I have no medical knowledge or training. I just read the news, I just read stuff, and I'm generally interested in stuff. So I read a lot of different stuff, and a lot of it amounts to nothing, and some of it's quite interesting, and sometimes you just kind of clue into a current, as I did with the COVID thing. I was reading about the COVID thing in, like, at the end of summer in 2019. I was reading stuff. Now, again, I didn't think a whole lot of it. I mean, it was something that was floating around the Twitter sphere, and it was floating around the internet, and then bang, by the following January, well, you know the story there. So I'm not saying monkeypox is going to be another rerun of that, but it's something that we should pay attention to, because there's a couple of things here. Number one, we've seen what can be done. Governments have also seen what can be done. Big Pharma has also seen what can be done. And last but definitely not least, the mainstream media has seen what can be done. For definitely Big Pharma and big media, the old mainstream media, which I'm talking TV, I'm talking newspapers, the old school media, COVID for them was an absolute gold mine. And as for Big Pharma, again, an absolute gold mine. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful that, let's say, less than scrupulous players in society might try and make something of something. I'm not saying they would, not saying they will. I'm just saying you have to be vigilant. You have to try and take a middle view, try and take a sane view, and not get swept up in narratives and not get swept up in hysteria. Try to pick through it, which is not always easy, but we have to try. So I just wanted to do a thing today, just to kind of throw it out there. This is by no means going to be a deep dive. I don't think anybody really knows, to be quite honest, what shape or make this is going to develop into, but we do know what it is. So let's have a look at what it is. So let's head on over first to let's try CNN. Okay, CNN, don't always go to CNN for my news, but let's see what they've got to say here, just to open the thing up and get a brief insight into it. What is monkeypox, says Sandy LaMotta. What is monkeypox and its signs and symptoms? Okay, and this is from today, actually. Okay, fair enough, so it's fairly fresh. An extremely rare disease, says CNN. An extremely rare disease called monkeypox, a cousin of smallpox. So it's a relation. I mean, it's the same, part of the same basket of goodies. Has again made its way to the United States. A case of monkeypox was reported Wednesday in a patient hospitalized in Massachusetts who had recently traveled to Canada in private transportation. In 2021, 2 people traveling from Nigeria to the US were diagnosed with the disease, according to the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC. Monkeypox is mostly found in West and Central Africa, but additional cases have been seen in Europe, including the United Kingdom and other parts of the world in recent years. Those cases are typically linked to international travel or imported animals infected with the pox, the CDC has said. On Thursday, Spain confirmed 7 cases of monkeypox in Madrid and are investigating another 22. Italy confirmed its first case, and Canadian public health officials announced they're investigating 17 suspected cases of monkeypox in Montreal. Several cases of monkeypox in the UK among people who have no known travel or contact with others with the virus have health officials there and at the CDC concerned, but there is no cause for alarm. US Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy said Thursday on CNN's The New Day. At this quote, "At this time, we don't want people to worry." Well, sorry, but you would say that. Murthy said, "These numbers are still small," he goes on to say. "We want them to be aware of the symptoms, and if they have any concerns, to reach out to their doctor." Okay, good, from CNN. That gets the ball rolling. Let's hop on over here to the conversation. Academic rigor, I like that. Journalistic flair, not sure what that means, but academic rigor, we'll take that for starters. What is monkeypox A microbiologist explains what's known about this smallpox cousin. Good. I want to hear a microbiologist explain. Let's get to the expert here. Oh, geez, I don't like the look of that. Yeah, all right, not very pleasant there. All right, on May 18, 2022, Massachusetts health officials, yeah, okay, we get that. They got a couple of people. Monkeypox isn't a new disease, says the microbiologist. So we got a name here. Anybody put a name to this? No, it doesn't say anything. All right. Oh, it does. Author, Rodney E. Rhoda, Regents Professor of Clinical Laboratory Science, Texas State University. All right, fair enough. I guess that's a lad who can speak to this. Right, what does our man say? Monkeypox isn't a new disease. Okay, the first confirmed human case was in 1970, when the virus was isolated from a child suspected of having smallpox in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Monkeypox is unlikely to cause another pandemic. All right, fair enough, says Rodney E. Rhoda, professor. Okay, good. I'm liking that. I'm liking the sound of that from the professor. Right, it's unlikely, though rare. Yeah, okay. Though rare and usually monkeypox can still potentially cause severe illness. Health officials are concerned that more cases will arise with increased travel. Well, that's a thing that kind of changes the game a bit from previous eras and from previous generations. Even from say 1970, like how many people from the Congo or Zaire as it was then, how many people were travelling to the UK or the US from Zaire? Not many. Now there's a hell of a lot more and easy travel coming from that direction, from all directions to anywhere. You can get from anywhere to anywhere. It's not that hard. It's well within the reach of even the poorest parts of the world. That creates its own challenges, especially for the transmission of viruses. Okay, so let's go on with the professor. Right, I'm a researcher who has worked in public health and medical laboratories for over 3 decades. Okay, well, I guess you get to speak on this, especially in the realm of diseases with animal origins. What exactly is happening in the current outbreak, and what does the history tell us about monkeypox? It's a cousin of smallpox, is the next heading. All right, we know this. It's caused by the monkeypox virus, which belongs to a subset of the Poxviridae family. Okay, this is all way above my head, but that's why we have the professor. It's from this family of viruses called orthopox virus. This subset includes smallpox, vaccinia, and cowpox viruses. Cowpox? Oh, fair enough. I think I've heard of cowpox. While an animal reservoir for monkeypox virus is unknown, African rodents are suspected to play a part in transmission. The monkeypox virus has only been isolated twice from an animal in nature. Diagnostic testing for monkeypox is currently only available at Laboratory Response Network labs in the US and globally. The name monkeypox comes from the first documented cases of the illness in animals in 1958, when 2 outbreaks occurred in monkeys kept for research. So it was in a lab where they were testing using monkeys for research, because they used to do a lot of that. However, the virus did not jump from monkeys to humans, nor are monkeys major carriers of the disease. The monkeys are getting a bad rap here. Monkeypox. They didn't even have much to do with it. Poor monkeys. Anyway, gotta lay it at somebody's door. It's not like the monkeys are gonna talk back. Okay, I suppose that's it there. If you want to have a glance at the monkeypox, which hasn't much to do with monkeys. Epidemiology. Since the first reported human case, monkeypox has been found in several other Central and Western African countries, with the majority of infections in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Cases outside of Africa have been linked to international travel or imported animals, including in the US and elsewhere. The first reported case of monkeypox in the US was in 2003 from an outbreak in Texas linked to a shipment of animals from Ghana. There were also travel-associated cases in November and July of 2021 in Maryland. Because monkeypox is closely related to smallpox, the smallpox vaccine can provide protection against infection from both viruses. Since smallpox was officially eradicated, however, routine smallpox vaccinations for the US general population were stopped in 1972. Because of this, monkeypox has been appearing increasingly in unvaccinated people. Well, they eradicated smallpox, so obviously it was no longer a danger. Transmission. How can you transmit it? The virus can be transmitted through contact with an infected person or animal or contaminated surfaces. Typically, the virus enters the body through broken skin, inhalation, or the mucous membranes in the eyes, nose or mouth. Researchers believe that human-to-human transmission is mostly through inhalation of large respiratory droplets rather than direct contact with bodily fluids or indirect contact through clothes. Human-to-human transmission rates for monkeypox have been limited. So that's up to now. Health officials are worried the virus may currently be spreading undetected through community transmission, possibly through a new mechanism or route. Where and how infections are occurring are still under investigations. So the worry here, from my kind of trawl through stuff and reading various things, is that the worry here is that it's getting transmitted ever faster, and it may be airborne, and there's talk of, there's an outbreak that seems to be connected to homosexual men. So obviously there will be a lot of skin contact there, bodily fluid interactions and stuff like that. So that would make sense that's one way you could get it. But if somebody coughs or sneezes, or that's another way that there could be an infection passed on. So it's worrying. And they're still kind of, because this is kind of kicking off in various parts of the world, they're still trying to grapple with where's it coming from, how's it getting from one person to another. So we're very much in the early days here, and they don't have all the answers. They know what came before, but what came before was very rare and very limited. Things are a little bit shiftier now because, as I said, global travel is just another mundane part of everyday life. It's no longer for the elites, it's no longer for the rich. Everybody's doing it, or can do it. And especially after the COVID lockdowns, people are getting out. People are getting on planes, they're flying places, they're going on holidays. They're trying to get back out there in a way that they physically couldn't for a couple of years. So yeah, global travel, if you've seen any of the queues at the airports, people are they're all getting on planes. Signs and symptoms. After the virus, let's go on. Professor, keep going. After the virus enters the body, it starts to replicate and spread through the body via the bloodstream. Symptoms usually don't appear until 1 or 2 weeks after infection. You mightn't even know you had it. Monkeypox produces smallpox-like skin lesions. We've seen that in the picture up there, not very pleasant. But symptoms are usually milder than those of smallpox, thank God. Flu-like symptoms are common initially, ranging from fever and headache to shortness of breath. 1 to 10 days later, a rash can appear on the extremities, head or torso, that eventually turns into blisters filled with pus. Really mac. Head and overall symptoms usually last for about 2 to 4 weeks, while skin lesions usually scab over in 14 to 21 days. While monkeypox is rare and usually non-fatal, one version of the disease kills around 10% of infected people. 10%. That's 1 in 10 who get it. Now, that's one version. I don't know how many versions there are, and I don't know which version is the one that's circulating. So no doubt we'll get more information about that as it goes on. The form of the virus currently circulating is thought to be milder. All right, fair enough, with a fatality rate of less than 1%. So, okay, now, as far as I can remember from the COVID thing, the mortality rate was extremely low. It was low except for certain demographics, like older people, obviously, people who had underlying health conditions. They were very at risk. I mean, they were the ones really at risk. Whereas young people, not really. People who are healthy, people who, who were not in the older age category and didn't have any underlying health issues, they were, for the most part, fine. And as soon as the Omicron thing came along, it was, there was really nothing to see there. Right, vaccines and treatments. Okay, treatment for monkeypox is primarily focused on relieving symptoms, according to the CDC. No treatments are available to cure monkeypox infection. Oh Lord. Evidence suggests that the smallpox vaccine can help prevent monkeypox infections and decreases the severity of the symptoms. One vaccine known as Imvamoon or Imvamex is licensed in the US to prevent monkeypox and smallpox. Alright, so there is a vaccine. Well, it's licensed, so I guess it must do the job. Vaccination after exposure to the virus may also help decrease chances of severe illness. The CDC currently recommends smallpox vaccination only in people who have been or are likely to be exposed to monkeypox. Immunocompromised people are at high risk. Alright, good. Yeah. So there you go. That's from the professor. Let's go and we'll have some just to give us a really kind of up-to-date flash image of what's going on here in Europe, especially. Let's head on over to the Express, and this is literally, I think, from Solon Lenet, and this is today, like literally 3 or 4 hours ago. All right, so monkeypox latest, UK cases more than double to 20 as 58 deaths reported in the Congo. So look, again, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon here. I honestly don't know is the answer to what the story is here. I don't know. I'm very much kind of just looking around and reading what I can and keeping an eye on various things. Where it's going to go, what it's going to do, what it's going to become, I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. This is what's happening at the moment. So the UK, this thing is okay. It's by no means pandemic stuff, but it's happening. It's happening. Let's see what they have to say. Monkeypox cases in the UK, says Solon, have now more than doubled to 20. Health authorities are warning of widespread transmission if cases go unreported, and according to the World Health Organization, more than 50 deaths from the disease have been reported in the Congo. Alrighty. Monkeypox cases in the UK have more than doubled, with 11 more announced today. That's today, right now. The outbreak has also spread to new countries. Oh no. With a handful of cases now confirmed overseas. Several cases are being investigated in the US, we read a bit about that, Canada, Australia and France. Italy and Sweden have joined the growing list of European countries with suspected cases. Experts have warned the new cases of the viral infection, which causes, okay, we know what it causes. Health authorities across the continent are piling up on the smallpox vaccine in a bid to contain the spread of the disease. Okay, so they're already gearing up by getting batches of the smallpox vaccine, which there hadn't been really any need for since the 1970s, yeah. So get them out of storage, or I don't know if they store that long, but somebody's cranked up get the machines running again. The World Health Organization has also confirmed 58 people from the Congo have died since the start of 2022. On Friday, the 20th of May, that's today, Australia reported 2 cases of monkeypox, with one confirmed in a 30-year-old traveller who recently returned from his travels in Britain. So Britain's okay. All right. A second suspected case of the disease is currently being investigated in a 40-year-old who had recently travelled to Europe. It follows the confirmation of cases in the US, Spain and Portugal on Wednesday. Alrighty. Canada's Public Health Agency confirmed 2 infections of the tropical virus after authorities in the Quebec province said they were investigating 17 suspected cases. Right. Alrighty, so that's the up-to-date picture. Now, I think we have a situation that's unfolding. It's concerning, it's worrying, and after the 2 years of the COVID pandemic, we're all a little bit kind of wary. We're all wary, with good cause, with very good cause. You know, we've seen what can happen, and we've seen the devastation that a global virus can have on our lives, and the amount of deaths it can cause, and the amount of harm it can cause to society in general. The economy just implodes. You can't leave your house. You can't go visit people. You can't go to meetings. You can't go and visit your relatives. I mean, it's, you know, I don't need to tell you how bad it can get. So we need to keep an eye on this. Okay, they're saying this strain is not the bad one, but you know, a mortality rate of 10%, whereas your COVID thing had a mortality rate of less than 1%. You know, like a lot less than 1%. That's not good. This is way, if the bad strain got going, like 10%. You thought COVID was dangerous. This thing is way more dangerous. But hopefully, as I said, we've read there from the professor. He's saying, look, don't worry, it's not going to, you know, take off. Now, I'd like to believe him. You know, I want to believe him. But I honestly don't know, because this thing can go in any direction, and we've seen with the way travel is these days, you know, you get somebody who has something and they're in Nairobi, and the next day they're in New York. That's how fast. And then everybody on the plane was in a tube, you know, an enclosed tube, breathing the same air as that person for like 10 hours. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to scare you, but let's keep an eye on this. It's just an opening salvo. I think it's something's going on. I don't know what it is, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. I think there'll be more videos on this, because I can't see this dying out overnight, and I'm hoping that it doesn't take off in like other things have in the recent past.